Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that GM has cut its Buick dealership network in half through buyouts. Nearly half of Buick dealers choose buyout over investing to sell EVs. General Motors has roughly halved the size of its Buick dealership network in the U.S. through an ongoing voluntary buyout program. The 1,000 store reduction is meant to increase throughput and profits at the remaining stores, according to Duncan Aldred, global head of GM's Buick and GMC brands. Buick plans to continue to offer buyouts, which have cost GM about $1 billion thus far, into next year. Buick doesn't seem fazed by the exodus. But before we get into all of that, please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. And before we continue, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions. Doctors, including any type of specialty, nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses, lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus, teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school, as well as any kind of job that requires a government license or certification. And ProWorldNet.com also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you are looking for a job or an employee. General Motors has cut the size of its Buick dealership network roughly in half in the U.S. through an ongoing voluntary buyout program, an executive told reporters. The 1,000 store reduction aims to increase the amount of sales per location or throughput and profits at the remaining dealers, according to Duncan Aldred, global head of GM's Buick and GMC brands. The buyouts also allow dealers who don't want to invest in electric vehicles to get out of the business. What this is enabling us to do, that is triple the throughput of the remaining dealers, Aldred said during an online interview. I think it's fair to say that I'm really pleased that we achieved it. Buick plans to continue to offer buyouts, which have cost GM about $1 billion thus far into next year. The average sales of the remaining stores still trail those of GM's GMC brand, which largely shares showrooms with Buick, according to Aldred. A majority of the dealers who took buyouts were smaller stores, which represented only about 20% of Buick's annual sales. As part of the buyouts, the company offers payments for the dealers to cease operating their businesses. The voluntary buyout program with Buick's roughly 2,000 U.S. franchise dealers started last year, as the brand began investments in its transition to exclusively offering all-electric vehicles domestically by 2030. Dealers need to invest in training, tools, and special equipment for the EV transition. Buick declined to disclose how much investment is needed, saying specific costs may vary depending on the size and scope of the dealership. Duncan Aldred, Vice President of Buick GMC Sales for General Motors Co., speaks next to a GMC Sierra Denali HD truck, displayed during an event in Chula Vista, California, U.S. on Tuesday, January 22, 2019. Aldred said the company need to reduce the size of the dealer network regardless of the all-EV plan, which he confirmed it is still targeting for 2030. However, he said meeting that goal will largely depend on customer demand and acceptance of EVs in the years ahead. We will very much play to the market demand. Buick does not currently offer an EV in the U.S. The brand's lineup consists of 4 gas-powered crossovers and SUVs, with starting prices ranging from about $2,400 to $43,900. The brand offers hybrid vehicles in China, but Aldred declined to say whether Buick would offer or import such vehicles domestically. Hybrids are increasingly viewed as a potential way to help automakers meet more stringent U.S. fuel economy standards, amid slower than expected EV sales. Buick's U.S. sales are recovering from the coronavirus pandemic and supply chain issues. The brand's sales through the third quarter had climbed 63% from their sluggish levels a year earlier. The brand sold less than 104,000 vehicles in 2022. That compares with pre-coronavirus pandemic levels of roughly 207,000 in both 2018 and 2019. The brand's newest entry, a small entry-level crossover called the Envista, and normalizing fleet sales are expected to help boost Buick's sales back to pre-pandemic levels, Aldred said. In 2022, General Motors gave Buick dealers across the nation a simple choice: invest a significant amount of money to prepare for EVs or opt for a buyout. Over a year later, the brand has reportedly lost nearly half of its dealerships as it prepares to roll out its first electric cars. Trade journal Automotive News reported that the number of Buick dealers in the United States dropped by about 47% during 2023. At the beginning of the year, the network included 958 stores. Fast forward to December, and that figure stands at approximately 1,000. More dealers could throw in the towel in the coming weeks, as the publication adds that the buyout program remains open and will continue. Dollar figures haven't been released, so we don't know precisely how much money a dealer who opts out can claim from General Motors or how much money a dealer needs to spend to stick with the brand. However, the latter figure falls somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000. News reporters learned. Dealers notably need to invest in equipment, such as charging stations, and training. I'm really pleased with where we are. The network where we are now is a good size. It's with dealers who are focused on the business, who've shown that they can recover the volume that the dealers who transitioned away were doing. Company boss Duncan Aldred said, according to Automotive News, the dealers who chose to stop selling Buick models accounted for about 20% of the brand's sales in the United States. Buick told the publication that around 89% of the American population still lives within 25 miles of one of its dealerships. General Motors extended the same offer to Cadillac dealerships in 2020, and about 150 stores allegedly chose to leave. For context, the dealer network consisted of 880 locations in the United States before executives floated the buyout offer. The dealers who left received between $300,000 to $500,000, the report adds, while preparing to sell electric cars would have set them back by around $200,000. But what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.